right, welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. This is a pop-up show. I definitely want to get in here and talk to you guys. I've had a pretty long week. Had another death in the family. This is like 3 back-to-back. Hey, God is still good though, and we still push forward. However, I had some conversation with a few of my relatives, and I definitely wanted to talk to you guys about that today and have some people come up and actually have this conversation. I think it'll be good to have this conversation because listening to some of the things that the elderly women said, based on the fact that they said they're watching my show, but they don't know how to log in or get on, and they don't want to get on because they're old, they've lived their lives, and they don't have laptops and Apple computers or laptops. However, I'm going to deliver their message on this show today. It couldn't wait until next week until do another show because we got a lot of shows that are going to come up this week, guys. So make sure Monday through Friday, check out our shows. But man, guys, I got to let you guys know what's going on and what I had an opportunity to see, hear, and be a part of by asking the women these questions. I wanted to video them, but during the circumstances of it being a funeral and things of that nature, I wasn't going to do that. I didn't want them to be uncomfortable because half of them lost their brother, and their uncle and their cousin and their friend. So it was just a conversation around the table with them congratulating me on my platform, and so I didn't feel the need to pull a camera out and make them feel embarrassed. However, we're about to get the show started. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. and we're about to show. I'm about to get into this conversation, and I'll have some people come up again. I'll drop the link after I get through with my soliloquy here. But we're about to get started. Here we go. Let's go. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on? What's going on? It is good to be here. Guys, man, I'm so happy to be here today. Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me real good. I don't want to make sure y'all can hear me real good here. I want to kick a shout out to family. I see family in the chat today. We got We Building over here. We Building over here. Thank you for being here. If you haven't hit that like button and subscribe button, please do so. We Building here says the blues. We're talking about the blues here. Black Men Unfiltered in chat, Sunday blessings. A lot of people don't know about the blues, where it originated from, and what it's all about. You're absolutely correct. That should be a show one day. We should definitely dive into music and the history of it. We got the World Class in the building today. World Class, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you, man. Let's see here. We Building over here. The blues came from poverty and struggle of slavery. Let's go. Absolutely. He said the World Class. All right, they're speaking to each other. All right, my sister from another mister, ladies and gentlemen, Tough Topics podcast. She said, let's go. Beautiful young lady that is sweeping the YouTube space by storm. If you have not subscribed to Tough Topics podcast, I don't know what you're waiting on. We're going to virtually jump you. You definitely need to go over to Tough Topics podcast and subscribe. We're working on a show right now for her. She's going to do a show, so you guys be informed. She'll be on my community tab for every show that she does moving forward. I want to make sure we support her and get her where she needs to be. She is a voice that needs to be heard in this space. So Tough Topics, please, guys, go and like and subscribe to Tough Topics podcast. Do that, please. All right. So thank you for being here, TTP. Let's see here. All right, We Building over here, about to take the family out, eat in an hour or so. Absolutely, we should be done by then with what I want to talk about. So I had an opportunity this week. Last week I had an uncle who suddenly got sick and passed away. He was 58 years old. He passed away. And, you know, I'm from Louisiana. I live in Dallas. And I just went home and went to the country. That's what we do. Went to the country and to see my grandmother, of course, is and it's her brother. And everybody's very close with him. We have a very close knit family, so it struck a pain chord in everybody. It really did. It took a toll on pretty much everybody because it was so sudden. However, during that time, a conversation came up. One of my cousins said, "Hey, you know what? I really like your show." I said, "Oh, I didn't know y'all watched it with y'all old butts." And they started talking. I have aunts who are in their late 70s, who have my nieces and nephews pull this up for them to watch, and they disagree with a lot of the things I have on my show, and not to a point where they disagree with me. Um, they have a point. To the point where they disagree with a lot of things that they said the young ladies were saying, and some of the young men. On Friday, Barbershop Talk went on without me, and the men had a conversation about men creating the narrative, and men are the reason why women are wanting to be so independent today. And men are the reason why women want to go to sperm banks today. Uh, Men are the reason why women are out of line. Well, I had an opportunity to sit down and talk to some of these older women who beg to differ. And I want to start with the very first thing that I was told. One of my older aunts, who's in her 70s, she said, a lot of people, a lot of people who grew up and said that, a lot of men. Let me say it this way: a lot of men came and said that on the shows previously, they came in and talked about the women had to be married to the husbands, and they had to be there, right? A lot of the men were married to women. The women didn't really want to be married, but they had no choice because of the circumstance. That's one of the things that was said. And my aunt, who is 78 years old, said that is a myth. She said these men chased them, fell in love with them, married them, had families with them. Where is that coming from? Is what they were asking. Where is it coming from? Why are people on your channel saying that back in the day women had to be married and they had to stay with a man, because if went with a man, they wouldn't have anything? She said the reason they married men because they were raised up in a traditional religious home where they believed in marriage. This is what my 78-year-old aunt said, who was married for 60 plus years before her husband passed away. She said she loved her husband 60 years ago. She loved him when they went on their first date. She said their first date was they had a blanket, a jug of water, and some sandwiches, because they weren't able to go to the theaters, or they weren't able to be out in public as a couple. They were afraid for their lives, so they would just take advantage of the country, and they would go and sit out in the field and enjoy their water and enjoy their sandwiches and have conversation. And they were married. So she said that was a myth. My other uncle said there was also a myth as well, who is also still married. His wife is, they're getting old, right? His wife is now in a wheelchair. They've been married for probably 60 years. She's in a wheelchair now. He's on a cane, but they've been together since they were in their 20s. And he also agreed with my aunt, who is a widower, that is a myth. They loved each other. Now, what reason does my aunt have to lie at 78 years old? I don't think she does have a reason to lie. She's just having conversation. I was able to have this conversation with her. So, I don't know where this started. I don't know who made this up. I don't know who put this in the books. I don't know who said it, but the first thing we're going to address is that was a myth. Now, this is anecdotal, right? Okay. But I am talking to people who have experience and who lived in that time, who say that they didn't know my aunt. I had to ask her, right? I said, aunt, that's just your situation. She said, no, that was not a situation. That was just not my situation. I said, well, how did you know what was going on in everybody else's house? She said, well, because we took care of each other. She said, with the women would meet once a week to have discussion to see how they could build. Listen, y'all, this is what amazed me. She said, your grandmother, which she's talking about my grandmother and my grandfather, who were married for 63 years. She said all the women, all the men would go outside, cut wood, slaughter hogs, go hunting in the wintertime, summertime, go fishing. And while they were out, other women would be in the house talking about and discussing different things on how they could move forward. I had this situation with Robert. What do you ladies think I should do? And she said that my aunt said the feedback, and my grandmother said the feedback used to be so positive because they would all go straight to the word of God. They would also all pray together. But my aunt said when her and her husband got together, they had some rough times. And not only would they pray with her and her husband, my uncle, but the women would come over and pray over the house, pray over the children. They would have dinner together, right? My aunt said that they would sit down and have dinner together for weeks and weeks at a time. And they would bring back even when the family felt like it was slipping, they would just bring that family back. They would bring that family notion back, right? Husbands would talk to each other. Wives would talk to each other. They wanted to be married. It's a myth if we sit here and say those women had to be married because they wouldn't have nothing, or they had to be, or they were forced to be married. I'm listening to these elderly people talk, and they're saying something completely different, and they're talking about it from a community standpoint. My aunt said it wasn't just the family, this blood. She said it was people across the street that they weren't even related to, that they would go over and talk with and pray for and pray with. She said they would all go to church together. She said they all pick cotton in the field together. She said when my grandfather would kill a hog, he would cut that hog into 8 different pieces and feed 8 different families. The women would shell the peas and pick the vegetables in the garden. While the men slaughtered and processed the animals, the women were picking the peas and cutting it and cutting down sugar cane and pulling tomatoes, and they would bring it all in. And my grandmother said it was like Thanksgiving. Every Sunday, the community would come together and eat at each other's houses. They would take turns and eat at each other's homes. And she said prayer. She said it wasn't no church service or holy and thou. She said it was prayer. We discussed issues. We discussed concerns. If one man didn't have a job, then the other men would say, hey, listen, we'll see if we can get you on the farm over here where we work at. When the women were suffering with children, right, and a child was sick, the women would come over and pray with the child and fix up these home remedies and help her with the child, try to break the child's fever, and try to. And it was just a community. So when I sit and I listen to things, when I sit and listen to things about on panels where I hear men and women say that men and women were forced to be together, it don't sound like this after I'm sitting at this table full of all these elderly people. I'm sitting here listening to these elderly people say that this is not true. Now, in some cases, maybe. Some cases, maybe, guys. In some cases, it may have been to a point where a woman just was with a guy just to be with him for financial purposes. But I think that was if we want to say majority, minority, I think that was the minority. I don't think that was the majority of those families and those listening to that. I say, man, wouldn't that be amazing today if we weren't selfish? If I had something to eat, everybody in the community had something to eat. When my children were out of line, the whole community could put my child back in line because if I wasn't present. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had the mindset of the women and men back then that worked together? What did I just say? The women would be in the field, getting the peas, tomatoes, cutting down sugar cane. The men would be processing a hog or something, or a deer, rabbit, squirrel, whatever they shot, caught, or captured to eat, to add to that rice that his wife's in there doing, or that corn she's shuckling. It's amazing. It's amazing to hear those stories of people who work together as a community, and for people to say it didn't exist, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy. I was talking to my big brother Mandrell today about this very thing. And that's what inspired me to do a pop-up show today. It's crazy that people will say that families back then, and Mandrill talked about his mom and his father, who pretty much had the same thing. His daddy was stern, right? So was his mom. But his mom wasn't forced to be with his dad. She loved that man, and he loved her, right? The way that made the way that Mandrill's father raised him and his sister, beautiful sister Shushu. Shushu is very successful right now. Mandrill is very successful. Their children are not in jail. They've not been um, they're not traumatized. They're out doing what they chose to do. Mandrill chose the military. Shushu chose entertainment, and which she is great at as well. So that's one of the myths. That's the first myth I wanted to address. The elderly people, excuse me, guys, the elderly people that I was sitting around, aunts, uncles, cousins, this is what they were saying. But let me move into the next one, right? Reckless, stay in the chat, man. I'm gonna bring you up in a second. This is the crazy thing, right? So the second thing they talked about was, as far as tradition is trash, and right, that was the first thing. That was a part of the tradition that everybody feels is trash, right? Every man beat his wife, and the women were forced to be with the men, and all this other stuff. It's not true. And if it did happen, which in some cases it may have, it's minority, not the majority of people. But we paint it as if all those women were forced to be with those men. That's not true. That's not true. Um, the next thing is 50-50. We talked about, oh, 50-50 this and 50-50 that. 50-50 this and 50. My aunt said, what is this 50-50 thing? She said, why are we even counting 50-50? When my aunt said, when I took the vows with my husband, I vowed to become one. She said, scripture says to us that we become one once we're married. We become one in flesh and in spirit. We become one. She said, so if I become one with the physical man and the spirit of a man, then why everything that he gains and I gain have to be separated and called 50-50? I said, well, auntie, I wish I could have you on the show. Nah, baby, I'm too old for that. Oh, grandma. I mean, oh, auntie, grandma, y'all got to get it together. I would love to have I'll come to Louisiana. I'll put a round table. I'll sit in the middle and put you guys around me. We have the conversation. No, baby, I'm too old for that. She said, I'm going to repeat what she said. She said, why are we even discussing as young people? This is her criticism, her constructive criticism to me on the people that she sees on my panel. Why are we talking about 50-50 in a relationship when everything a man gains and everything a woman gains should be a part of their coming together and becoming one? She said, I shouldn't count. My grandfather's name is Robert. Rest in peace, my grandfather. She said, I didn't count Robert's money. And Robert didn't count what I brought in either when I was selling these eggs out the chicken coop. She said, we throw all that money in that bank account and we spend it like we both made it. There was no 50-50. She said, where, and then, she really took me out with this one. She said, she said, I see a lot of those young women on your show that I heard say, that they traditional women and traditional women didn't work. She said, that is a lie. I'm repeating her words in her tone of voice. That is a lie from the bowels of hell. She said, baby, I don't remember a time I didn't work. She said, even when your grandfather became big in the oil business, I worked. That was a part of who I am. My aunt sitting right next to her. Same here. I always worked. My uncle, that's true. That's true, nephew, great nephew. That is true. They always worked. So this narrative that traditional women sit at home and don't have to work, that's not true. Because it's going back to what my aunt said. You're right, realistic vibes. I can't say all women. Some women did work and some women didn't. However, we can say all women work because the women that didn't work, they were in the fields. They were shuckling peas. They were taking care of the children. They were making sure the house was done. Clothes were ironed. The 3 meals a day were cooked, breakfast cooked, dinner cooked. So yeah, I would say all women worked. I would honestly say all women worked, whether being paid by a job or whether being at home with the children. But I'm sitting around. If you just got here, I'm telling everybody I had a death in the family. I went home to Louisiana this past weekend. I just got back a few hours ago. Back to Dallas. I sat around talking to the elderly, to all the people, the older couples who are married. I wanted to get them on camera, but I didn't do it because of the circumstances. They just lost their brother, their uncle, their cousin, whatever the situation was, what he was to them. Right out. Right. So I didn't want to pull out no camera and start recording and make them feel uncomfortable. I just was having easy conversation with them. And they were telling me about some of the things they heard on my show, right? Because they have it now that some of them don't have tablets or phones, or I mean, they have phones, but not tablets and computers. So they see some of my work, right? Thank you, Harris Tribe. This is the third one back to back. For the last 3 months, we've lost somebody significant in our family. So I'm praying that God just pump the brakes for us just a little bit for us to get through these three. I mean, these were three close people. My mom's brother, my grandmother's brother, and then my mother, and then my grandmother's daughter. So we've lost three people back to back for the last 3 months. So thank you for that. For that, I appreciate it. But I will say it's when I'm sitting around this table, I'm listening to these people who've been married my uncle and my aunt, 63 years. They're still alive. They're still married. 63 years. She's in a wheelchair now, of course. He's on a cane, right? But I'm listening to him talk. I'm listening to my aunt Dorothy. Dorothy, married for 58, 60 years. I don't even know the number. It's way up there, right? He passed away. She's a widower. My grandmother, married 63 years. She's a widower. My grandfather, they were together till he passed away, right? I'm sitting around the table with all these people and they're telling me these things. They don't understand what the hell we talking about. Matter of fact, my uncle got so upset. He said, it seems like y'all lying on our generation." He said, what y'all?" He said, "Y'all making this shit up." He said, "I think y'all making this shit up about us." He said, "But that shit y'all be talking about is not real." He said, "The hell y'all talking about traditional women staying at home and the men going out working?" He said, "Man, my wife was in them fields picking them peas while I was out working. She was out there in that sun getting them tomatoes, cutting them up, freezing the meat that I just processed, gutting the fish." He said, "What are y'all talking about?" He said, "What are we talking?" He said, "What is this notion that women are saying traditional women didn't do nothing? They didn't work." He said, "Your grandmother used to." He said, "My uncle told me this. I used to go over to your grandmother them house, and I see your grandmother out there with that washboard between her legs, washing clothes by hand. There was no washing machine." He said, "I would see your grandmother churning butter from the milk that she just got from the cow because she was over there milking the cow." He said, "So what are y'all talking about, young fella?" That's what he called me. He said, "What are y'all talking about, young fella?" He said, "I think y'all lying on me. And y'all lying on our generation." He said, why y'all making us look so bad?" He said, "All the times weren't good times." He said, "But during the bad times is where we had the best memories." Right? He said some of our best memories came from our pain. He said, when people thought that we weren't going to make it, he said, "the times that your grandmother had to straighten hair for 25 cents a head and sold dozens of eggs out of the chicken coop for 50 cents a dozen for them to get by. When my father or my grandfather was let go, right, from the plantation of picking cotton in the South, in Louisiana, in the heat. When they let all of them go because the owner of the plantation died, and the other family, my grandmother said the other family members didn't take on the responsibility of keeping it going because they didn't believe in people being out in the field. Well, okay. Right. And so my grandfather was sitting around looking for work, doing plumbing work here, painting here, little in and odd jobs. And my grandmother said, I still loved him the same. She said, the money did not define my husband. She said, but the bond we made when we married defined who we were. She said, the troubled times define your marriage. The good times solidifies your marriage. Listen, y'all about to write that down. The tough times define your marriage. The good times solidify your marriage. She said, good comes from both. How many people out there right now in the chat who are married and you've had some bad times and it defines your marriage? When you got through it, y'all look back and said, shit, we went through hell, but we here. The happiness solidifies it because that's giving you the notion that we've been through hell, but we still have enough love for each other to go back and be social with each other, joyous with each other. I'm not going to say happy, right? But joyous with each other, full of joy with each other, having moments of joy, understanding that we're in life and life is a roller coaster of ups and downs and ups and downs. So why are we talking and concerning ourselves? Why are we talking and concerning ourselves with things that we know are temporary? My grandmother said, you young folks put too much energy in things that are temporary. Well, grandmother, what do you mean? She said, I'm glad you asked. She said, the reason that those things are temporary is simply because emotions are temporary. She said, I'm mad at Robert. That's my grandfather's name, guys. I'm mad at Robert right now, but will I be mad at him tomorrow? She said, baby, why are we going to bed mad at each other? She said, your grandfather and I are very religious people. We believe in the word of God. She said, in that word of God, it says that we don't go to bed mad at each other. And then I started thinking, damn it, when I was a kid, do I remember this? And I do. I remember times where my grandmother had a bed right here. It was me and my brothers and sisters, so many of us guys. Me and my brothers and sisters, I used to sleep on the couch beside my grandmother's bed. When we went to visit for the summer, I would sleep on the couch and I would look over and I would hear them. I have the cover over my head with the fan blowing out the window. I would hear my grandmother say, Robert, I was wrong today. And I want you to know before we go to sleep tonight that I love you and I was wrong. Or vice versa. Sometimes my grandfather would say, I hear him say, Clem, right? My grandmother's name is Clemmy. Clem, baby, I'm sorry, I was wrong today. And I know we got a little upset and we walked away from each other, but I was wrong. When we get up in the morning, right, we're going to eat breakfast together and we're going to love on each other. And watch this. I used to get up as a kid, 10, 11 years old. That's how I remember it so well. I would smell Folgers coffee. That's what they drunk. It was either community coffee or Folgers, whichever was available. And I would listen to them sit at the table and listen to the news on the radio. And my grandmother would bring my grandfather some food and then she would fix her food. My grandmother would sit there and read the newspaper to my grandfather. And the day before, they were in a disagreement. Why don't we have that now? See, they say the generation now didn't teach us this, but they did because I remember it. I remember my grandmother sitting around telling my sisters and I, and my brothers and I, the same thing. Don't go to bed mad at each other. Make sure you do right by your husband. Make sure you do right by your wife. I remember these conversations. I remember my grandmother specifically talking to all of my siblings and I, and my uncles and my aunts who weren't married yet, who aspired to be married. And so when they say the generations didn't teach us nothing, that was a lie. They did. My grandmother said the reason that the world is the way it is right now is because people are choosing to make their own choices because they don't want accountability. Now, let me get into this part right here because this is the part I've been waiting to talk about. Yes, realistic vibes, people are selfish. You are absolutely 100% correct. Let me talk about the part about the accountability. This is the part that threw me. I almost fell out the chair, guys. It would have been real bad. I would have just laid there and looked up at the ceiling. Let me tell you what happened. She said, I'm hearing, this is my aunt. She said, I'm hearing that you guys, women want to be single. And they're choosing to be single. Well, as she was saying that, my cousin, we call her Miss Pineapple because she's a very yellow skin female. She's beautiful though. I have a beautiful cousin named Miss Pineapple. She has green eyes and she's yellow skinned. She's very, very bright. And so they call her Miss Pineapple. Miss Pineapple said, hold on a minute. I'm gonna tell you what happened. She said, the accountability is this. And I told Mandrell this earlier. My cousin said to me, she said, it is not men's fault that women want to be single. I said, shh. I said, girl. I said, you crazy as hell. I said, because this is what I hear every day. I do YouTube. I said, I'm a content creator. She said, I don't give a damn what kind of creator you are. She said, I'm telling you the truth. She said, you want the truth, the secret, or you don't? I said, okay, go ahead, baby. Speak your mind. She said, let me tell you the secret. She said, we had fathers growing up. And she said, you know my dad. I said, yeah, your dad was on y'all ass. She said, absolutely. And she said, my daddy told me, you're not going out this house dressed like that. You're not talking to that boy because he's no good for you. You're going to go in that room and make sure that room is cleaned up, and you're going to clean up behind yourself. When me and your mother are out working, you're the oldest. You're going to take care of your brothers and sisters while we're gone. You're going to go to school and get your education. If you don't, I'm going to come up there and I'm going to whoop your ass. She said, that's what daddy said. She said, and I said, I know your dad. I said, my daddy was the same. Would you think our daddies grew up together? We all family. She said, that's not the point. She said, I said, so what do you mean when you're talking about what we're talking about on the show, where you say that it's not our fault? Because a lot of men and women say it's our fault as men. She said, it's not your fault. But one more thing before I move forward. My grandmother, I want to go back to my grandmother because that's a whole nother story. I want to go ahead. My grandmother said that back in the day when women and men were married, she said, y'all lying on us when y'all said we taught our daughters to hate men. Yeah, I got to get this out. She said, we didn't teach our daughters. My aunt said, absolutely, we did not teach. She said, we didn't teach our daughters to be toxic or to hate men. No. She said, we didn't teach our daughters to be independent, to separate themselves from men. She said the community of women taught their daughters to be independently under the cover of a man. She said, that's the part y'all leaving out. She said, we taught our daughters to be independent under the covering of a man. I said, well, grandmother, how can a woman be independent? And that means she's close to what the man is. She said, She said, because we grew up in a different time. She said, see, what happened is y'all got stuck and somebody came back in and redid tradition and made us look bad. She said, that's not what it is. We taught our daughters to be independent under their husbands, because when the husbands left the house, the time that we were living in, it wasn't promised that the husband would make it back. So we had to teach our daughters how to be able to make a little money to take care of families if the husband didn't come home. We had to teach the daughters how to cook and how to clean and how to take care of themselves and how to run a household. We had to do it because their husbands could have come back. Their husbands could have went out into the world and got stopped by a 1957 Chevrolet and got hung up in a tree. A husband could have went out on a job and got deleted on a job. A husband could have went out and never been seen again, got shot and buried somewhere in the field. She said the times back then in those communities in the 40s and the 50s in the dirty South, if anybody in the South know what I'm talking about, realistic vibes, you know what I'm talking about. In the dirty, dirty South, Mandrell in Alabama, you know what I'm talking about. When a man didn't have a car and he had to walk to and from work and sometimes got caught up walking real slow because he was tired, legs are tired, and he walking at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the night and the moon's coming up and 5 little white boys in a truck pass by and say, let's have some fun and string that nigga up in the tree. My grandmother said we taught them to be independent under the umbrella of their husbands. In that independence is not to be activated unless your husband didn't show up. She said, my grandmother said she remembers so many times in the community that husbands didn't come home, that they found their bodies later, decomposed in the woods somewhere, that they were hung up in trees, swinging in trees in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and somebody found the body swinging because they were out hunting deer. She said, we taught them to be independent under the umbrella and the submission of their husbands. She said the only reason that we taught them that is for them to be able to run a household when their husband didn't show up. She said, so now that things have changed somewhat, because men are still being lynched today, but in different ways. But she said, but now they've taken this. She said, women have taken this from what we've taught, and the younger women have redid the Bible. They have redid the word, the scripture of what we've learned and what we've done. She said, we didn't teach you to take over a man. We taught you to be independent without a man who you lost to tragedy. We didn't teach you to be the man, to be talking over the man, to cuss at the man, to treat the man like anything. Guys, I'm sitting listening to my relatives in awe. And y'all know I talk. Y'all know I talk. I couldn't say shit. There was a silence that came over me that said, Lord, have mercy. I can't wait back to get back to Dallas and get in front of this camera and just tell people what it is that I've heard from these people, what I've heard from these people. Damn it. It was amazing. Amazing. I'm still in awe. Wow. I'm trying to get my thoughts together, guys. I'm just in awe about the things that I heard. I couldn't believe that we've been on the internet talking about these things and we're not even discussing it. We're not discussing it or getting anything from the people it actually came from. We're coming up with our own versions of it. And like they said, we're recreating it to make them look bad. Let me move on. My grandmother also said these words. My grandmother said, and my aunts and my uncles, who I was having this conversation with, they also had something else beautiful to say. She said, I overheard a young man on your panel. I said, what was his name? She didn't say his name. She said his name, I would have called him out. My aunt said, I heard a young man on your panel say that the reason that the kids and the women are the way they are right now, the way they're acting and carrying out right now, is based on the fact that parents dropped the ball. They didn't teach their kids nothing. They dropped the ball. They didn't teach their kids nothing. They didn't do nothing for their kids. They didn't teach their kids no morals, no values. And that's why the women are running rampant. And that's why the men are doing what they're doing. She said, baby, that's not true. Now, I have a cousin who is the same age as me, but she has an old spirit, just like me, right? It's a lot of us have family members who are very young, but their mindsets are old, right? They have the old mindsets. They think well, they prepare well, they're great moms, they're great wives. Even at early ages, they take on the mindsets of their mothers who raised them. So she was a part of this conversation, and she said, Mama, I want to talk about what we talk about at the house when I come over and visit. She said, go ahead, because I was just about to give it to nephew. I said, yep. I said, I want to hear it. She said, the reason that women are acting out today, that the way they are, she says, not because of this six-figure thing. I said, oh, y'all know about that? She said, just listen. Right? My younger cousin, the old mindset, she don't do social media or nothing. Right? She's just all about husband, family, and making things work. Right? So she went on to say, it's not about this six-figure thing. Not at all. She said it's not about how much a man make. That these women are acting like this is not how a man look. The reason these women are acting like that, she says, it's not about anything monetary. It's not anything about how the house you're living in. She says it's nothing to do with any of that. She said the reason that the women are out of line today, listen to this closely. She said because they don't want no accountability. I said, well, Grandma, I said, Grandma, Auntie, Uncle, y'all, little baby cousin, Miss Pineapple, I've been knew that. That you know, they're out of line because they don't have any accountability. She said, no, you're not listening. She said, when I was growing up, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier as I was getting into this. She said, when I was growing up, My daddy told me, you're not wearing that. Your breast out. You're not wearing that because I can see your camel toe. You're not wearing that. That's too tight. You're not wearing this. You're not going here. You're not going to that party because it's not good for you. Right? Those people down there don't mean any good. And I don't want you in a dangerous situation, so you're not going. You need to go clean your room up, to clean up behind yourself. Take care of yourself. Be good to others. Hush your mouth. You talk too much. Be quiet and listen. All those things that our dad did to her. She said, I'm okay with it because now I'm a better woman and a wife because of those things that he taught me as a young lady. She said, but now men and women on your platform are saying women and men women are like this because of men. She said, it don't got nothing to do with the money. Let me repeat it. She said, it don't have nothing to do with the money. It don't have nothing to do with time spent. It don't have nothing to do with traveling. She said it don't have nothing to do with communication. She said it don't have nothing to do with that. She said what it is that women don't want accountability and they don't want masculinity. And that's why they're choosing to be single moms, go to sperm banks, and raise kids on their own. She said because they don't want the accountability of a man saying, baby, you're my wife. I don't want you out there naked. I don't want you out there half naked. I don't want you out there hanging around the wrong crowd. I don't want you out there around this group of people because I can see things you can't see because you're connected to them differently than I am. And I'm telling you that these people are not good for you. They don't want the accountability. They don't want a man to tell them nothing. She said, so let me tell you the secret. She said, you want to know why these women out here spreading this shit, talking about being single moms, because single moms is the thing to do now. And every audience that hears it on TV is clapping. And every woman that hears it is saluting it. And every content creator woman who's in the YouTube streets, right, are expressing it, right? She said her children show her these things. And her children show her my show, though, shout out to them. The reason that they're like that is because they don't want any accountability. And she said, and the reason they want to be single moms, let me get this out. The reason that they want to be single moms is because they want to be able to train their sons to be the man that they want him to be instead of the man he was created to be. Let me back that truck up parenthetically and come back and say that again. The reason that they want to be single mothers, it choosing to be single mothers, not out of randomness, not out of a one night stand, but women right now saying we choose to be single mothers to raise our own sons. And the reason for that is because they no longer want masculinity, and they want to take the little boy's identity. You understand what I'm saying? They don't want him to be who he was created to be. A man was created to be a man of authority. A man was created to stand strong and stand in his square and say, this is what's going to go on in this house because God gave me the vision and the ability to do what it is to be a man. And everything that you as my wife bring in here, you add to the storehouse because the storehouse is in our house and our house is together because in the word of God, it says we become one in our flesh and in our spirit. There is no your money, my money, it's ours. And the reason that the women don't want these men to be in these children's lives is because I got you know what? I can change the narrative. Even if you go listen to Cynthia G's Ugly Ass, guess what she said? She said it. She said that when we're having boys, if you're choosing to have your sons, if you don't choose to delete them, go back and watch it, guys. If you don't want to delete them, then you have the opportunity not to have that man. That man should not be in your child's life, and you have an opportunity to raise a man the way he should be. Well, where is it anywhere popular for a woman to raise a man to be something that she has never been before? That means if he's not getting masculinity, he's getting injected with femininity, which causes a softer man who would not argue with women, but bow to them. Because that's what we want in society today. We don't want men to stand up and say, hey, that dress too tight. Hey, your breasts are out. You're not wearing that. Hey, You need to do this, this, and this. Hey, if you're working and you're choosing to work, hey, that money comes into our storehouse. Hey, that money comes together. Hey, I'm not counting what your check is. I don't even want to see your check stub. And you don't need to see mine either, because both of them going in the same bank account. Hey, there's no secret accounts. Hey, there's no separate accounts from each other, because we are one. If something needs to be done in this household, me and you have worked hard enough together to do it together, to be together. The only separation, together we stand, divided we fall. When I die, I'll be held accountable as an individual on how I was as a husband and a father and a man and an individual. When she passes away, she'll be judged on how good of a woman and a nurturer she was to her children, and how was transparency to our daughters, and the nurturing to our sons, so they can have the balance of a man, a sternness of a man, and the softness of a woman, to understand I want to get up one day and marry a woman who has the characteristics of my mother, but I definitely want to be the man to her that my father taught me to be when I watched him and my mother together. This is where we are today. The reason why, this is the secret of my baby cousin telling me this. Were we the same age? My cousin, I know she's watching. Shout out to you, Miss Rhino. Because she told me the secret. She said, I'm 39, baby. I'm around here listening to all these young girls my age and younger. The reason they want to be single is because they don't want no man to tell them nothing. They don't want no man to tell them what to do. And she said, y'all on that show, she said, my kids be showing me. She said, y'all on that show talking about, oh, it's a man's fault. Oh, it's what they did in the 60s. Oh, it's what they did. No, she said, no. Women have gotten to the point that they no longer want to be under the authority of any man. That's why you see women cussing out judges in the courtroom and women swinging on police officers. And this is why you see women running up on men right now, punching them in the mouth, punching them in the face, cutting them, unaliving them. Yeah. Make sure you tune in Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on this channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button so you know when we go live. But Tuesday at 8:30, we're talking about this. Domestic violence amongst men is going up. Yeah, we talk about the women being beat on. Absolutely, that is a concern. However, there are men right now who are getting their asses beat. They're getting stabbed. They're getting hot grease and hot water, boiling water, thrown on their bodies for no reason, just only because they didn't answer the phone when they went to the store. You didn't answer your phone, you must have been cheating. I got some boiling water for you when you get through the door. My cousin told me the secret. My cousin told me the secret, guys. My cousin told me the secret. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for my cousin. She told me the secret. She said it's not about how much money a man make. She said we don't give a damn. She said these young women that I'm around every day, right? Because she works at the college. Go figure that. Right? She works at the college. She's not a professor. I think she works in the he's what do you call it? A facilitator or person that work with the files, and it's like a secretary job or something. But she's around these young women all the time, having conversations with them, laughing. And she says she just stores all the information. And she come home and she says she tells her daughters how not to be. She uses it to help her own family. But she gave me the secret. She said these women don't care how much you make. They don't care if you make six figures, got six pack, and a penis the size of a Volkswagen. She said they don't want to be told what to do. She said they want the sex, of course. They want the sex, they want your baby, but they don't want you. Let me say this again. They want the sex, they want the sperm for the baby, but they don't want you, because they want you to be more feminine. They want you to be their girlfriend. They want to have pillow talk at night. They don't want you to be the authority. They want you to be the ally. They don't want you to be anti-feminism. They don't feminist. They want you to be feminist with them. They don't want you to tell them anything. They don't want you to tell them nothing. That's the secret, guys. That's what it is. She said it's around these college girls every day. The story is the same with everybody. Girl, listen, if I want a baby, I know how to go get a baby. I don't need him to be up inside me and get no baby. I get my own baby. And they're going to raise that boy to be whatever they want them to be. Shout out to Clem McGray with the $2 super chat. I appreciate you so much, my brother. I appreciate you. And Clement Gray, $2. He said, BMU, what's up, brother? Keep it up. Got videos for you. Absolutely, brother. Send them to me. Thank you. But that's where we are. That's the secret, guys. The secret is we don't want your money. Well, I'm sorry. We don't care how much money you make. Now we're going to get the money from you, but it's going to be a detachment situation, child support, or forcing you to give it, right? Because I put you in a bad situation. This is crazy. We want your sperm for the baby. We don't care how much money you make, but we want to raise our sons and our daughters to be what we want them to be, not what you want them to be. I want my son to be more like mama, and I want my daughter to be more like mama. It's because I want to raise a daughter to be a whore and a son to be sister girl, Mr. Feminine. Am I talking today? Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sugar Bomb. Sugar Bombs, you're absolutely right. We did a show on that. Princella, the stud maker, is what I call her, not the queen maker. Stud maker. She says these things. She says that men are basically, let me use her voice. I'm going to try. Men are really useless. There's no reason for men. Men are useless. Yeah, they're useless. But then who your daddy? Because you wouldn't be able to be here if it wasn't for your daddy ejaculating in your mother. But the stud maker can't say anything because I saw a video of her last week with her on OnlyFans rubbing lemon juice down her breast and getting money from a man. So basically, somebody leaked this video, I guess. If you hadn't seen it, please go find it. But basically, you can't say anything, queen, a stud maker, because you're pretending to be something you're not. So back to our regular schedule programming. The secret, guys, and if you believe this is true, male or female in the audience right now, put a 1 in the chat if you believe what my little cousin shared with me. If you believe that women don't want men in their lives or be married is because they don't want men to have authority over them. They don't want men to be able to tell them what to do. And they want to be able to raise their sons to be feminine, more feminine than masculine, because masculinity, they don't want that because masculinity shows too much authority. Put it a 1 in the chat if you agree with what my little cousin said. I don't want to have to be answering to no man. Right? I want to be out doing what I want to do. I want to be out saying what I want to say. I want to be out with the friends I want to be with. I want to be out smoking weed all night. I want to be out at the club. I want to be out on girls' trips. I want to be out fucking other men in other countries, and my girlfriends don't tell nobody. I don't want no man telling me I can't go on no girls trip no more because I should have done it when I was single, and now that I'm married, I have a responsibility. I don't want no man telling me I have responsibilities. I don't want no man telling me I got to take care of my kids. I don't want no man telling me I can't wear certain stuff in public because I ain't no single woman no more. I don't want no man having to tell me nothing. So for that reason, I'm gonna go to a sperm bank and get injected with this sperm. And when I have a little boy, I'm gonna teach him not to be masculine like his daddy or like the man who donated the sperm. I want him to be more like me. I want him to be more like me. And if he's more like me and more feminine like me, if he does get a woman, which he probably won't choose one, but if he does get a woman, my bad guys, I don't know what happened. But if he does get a woman, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna be in there, baby. You right, baby. Yes, baby. You right, baby. Yes, baby. You right, baby. Anything you say, baby. You want me to do what? You want to stick that in my ass? Absolutely, baby. You can stick it in there. You want me to do what? Oh, you want me to go on a girls trip with you? Absolutely, baby. Oh, you want to have an open relationship? You want to have an open marriage? Absolutely, baby. There are men right now who can't tell you why they with the woman they with, but they only with them because they found a woman who reflects their mother. And their mother emasculated them, so now they're getting emasculated by their mother, by the woman that they're with. This is the secret. My cousin told me the secret, guys. Right? I'm gonna take a quick break, guys. I'm gonna drop the link, but I'm gonna take a quick break. Clement Gray gave the $2 super chat. BMU, what's up, my brother? Keep it up. He said you got videos for me. Absolutely, Clement Gray. You know that you're very informational, guys. He's very informational, so send those videos to me. I'm gonna play something for him, and when I get back, I'll drop the link, and we can have this conversation. And I'll invite you guys up. Let me play something for my brother. Hold on one second. I think I'll do the violinist today. Thank you, Clement Gray, for the $2 super chat. Here we go.
Oh, let me slow it down. Rapping with the singing, I be swinging. You can get it all free like welfare. Yeah. Back to the beginning, know what I told ya. I got 2 degrees, now I'm dumb rich. This sound like some 718 shit. The living weirdo on the same shit. Gave me in, let's go violinist.
All right. Thank you so much for a $2 super chat, Clement Gray. I just dropped the link, guys. Hey, listen, come on up. Make sure you cam up. They want to see your beautiful faces, right? For productional purposes, I want to be able to clip these things for educational purposes, put them out as shorts and things of that nature. So I want to be able to people to see your avatar, not your avatar, but your face. So if you want to come up, I just dropped the link. Please come up and let's have this conversation. I see Tough Topics in the building. I see Be Love in the building. Thank you for being here. I see Edward in the building today. Who else we got over here? Let me see. One second. Let me go down this list here. I want to make sure I appreciate everybody for coming in today. Sugar Bomb said, I don't need no man to lead me. All right. So, guys, as you guys come up, I got a Cash App here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to play White Chocolate for the Cash App. So give me just a second. I'll play that. And then after that, we'll have people come up. So give me just a second. Let me play White Chocolate for y'all. All right, do I still have white? Yeah, I still got White Chocolate here somewhere. Hold on. There he is. All right, here we go. Thank you for this Cash App. Appreciate it.
I got a red room. It's the red now when the sun sets in my bedroom. Oh, it feels like I'm inside a flower. It feels like I'm inside my eyelid. Feels like I'm inside a flower.
All right, man. Thank you for that Cash App. If you want to give to the channel and you want to show your boy some love today, you want to give me a nice little Starbucks cup of something, of tea or something. There it is, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I would appreciate anything that you give. Let's see here. All right, so guys, like I said again, if you want to come up and have a conversation, please do. I would love to have you come up. Reckless is on his way to rehearsal. He said he would love to come up, but he can't because he's on his way to a rehearsal. So shout out to him. Let's see here. Nightish is in the building. What's going on, Nightish? All right, man. So, guys, if you want to come up, I understand if nobody wants to come up and have this conversation. I think that I did a good job of covering it and talking about the secret because it's been amazing to hear those elderly people talk about it. And it's amazing. Sugar Bomb says, what did she say? I want to make sure let's highlight what she said. We'll address her, then we'll be out of here. Sugar Bomb said, I don't need a man to lead me. And Sugar Bomb, you know I love you, but you will forever be single with that mindset. And if you do get somebody, it'll be one of these young men who was raised by a woman to be a man that every woman can step on. So I just wanted to put that out there. I love you to death, but if I don't tell you the truth, I don't love you. You will never be married. And if you do get someone to marry you, it'll be one of these son husbands whose mother has trained him to obey everything you say, and he has no backbone whatsoever. Guys, we are 100 subscribers away from hitting another grand. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the like button. I'll go ahead and do that for the algorithm and hit the subscribe button to help the channel continue to grow. But I appreciate everybody that came through today. Again, I want to shout out everybody before we get out of here. We got NYG, Kings, Jers in the building tonight. Be Love, thank you for being here tonight and supporting the channel. World Class, Clement Gray, of course. Edward, I said that already. Let's see, Quincy, thank you. He's also a member of the channel as well. Thank you, Clement, for being here. Let's see, Night-ish. I think that's everybody. Dorian's in the building. Thank you so much, Dorian, for being here. Red Lipstick Vibes. Thank you for coming in and showing your love. Mrs. She Said was in the building as well. The Harris Family Tribe Media Group was in the building. We got Jimmy HTV in the building as well. We over here, building over here was in here. Chris Senior, Shoo was in the building. Shamaria, thank you so much for being here. Crystal Light, thank you. Crystal Light says, I'm binge watching old stuff from months ago and you're live. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for being committed to this channel. I appreciate it. Let's see who else we had in here. Reckless Ray was in the building. Alexis from Texas. Thank you, baby, for being here tonight. Tough Topics Podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to Tough Topics Podcast. Mandrell was in the building, so on and so forth. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys have any questions, I'll give it about 3 more minutes. If you guys have any questions about anything I said, if you missed it, please go back and watch the preview and watch the show over again from the beginning. But this was amazing. I just wanted you guys to have it. So I'll bring Black David up for a second to discuss this matter before we get out of here. We'll be out here in about 5 minutes. But I'll bring Black David up, let him say his piece. We got the World Class just popped in as well. So I'll do Black David, let him say his piece, and then we'll do World Class, and then we'll be out of here. All right, let's bring up Black David first.
Good afternoon, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What you got for me today?
I'll say the first one for me. You're blessed to have that mama and your aunt to speak on this, because it was something of you trying to say as African that we noticed this. What your aunt was trying to show you that not that women don't want it, they feel like they could do a better job without us. Which means you will hear a lot of women saying, "Oh, I can put structure and order in my child better than a man can do," which is kind of stupid. Because you said it several times, if they can do a better job, why didn't they go to another island, build their own civilization, right? Build their own road, build their own building, do all that extra work. Why can't they do just that and just leave it out of it? It's not possible. We all got a role. I was taught this growing up because, for one, my uncle said it very quick to clear. As men, you are created for a specific role you're supposed to fulfill and follow through. There's something we can do within our lanes, but there's other things that's out of our lane we cannot deal with because it's not specialized for us to work on. They implied for the women. The women have their own lane they need to work on that they're specialized to do. but there's something that's out of their realm. They cannot do it themselves. They shouldn't even try to think, oh, I can do a better job. That is not the case. A woman can raise a woman to be a woman. It's not so, Black Men Unfiltered? They apply for a man can raise a man to be a man. It happened to me. My wife would get into some stupid internet clips, some article how I'm supposed to raise my son. Oh, you can't be provoking him. No, I'm not provoking him. I'm testing him. When he make the wrong decision, I correct him how you supposed to respond behind it. I'm getting him prepared. When he get out there, he's not gonna be some stupid idiot who will do something wrong and he get deleted. I know that a lot of women think they know how to raise a man better than a man. Until you have two balls, a baseball stick, and go through what we go through, then I will listen to you. Until then, I don't want to hear it. Because you have men out here killing themselves, over grinding, don't even take care of their health. I got to be on a 4-week hiatus from lifting weight because I almost messed up my lower spine on the right side. My chiropractor told me I'm not allowed while I'm going to the treatment because, one, being a man, the job that I do, the job that I take, sometimes doing heavy lifting from 50 to almost 300 pounds worth of equipment. We do it for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours. Sometimes I'm going to do double shift. We come home, we are tired, we are exhausted. We cannot speak back against the boat. We do what we got to do and keep it pushing so we can get that paycheck, pay the bill, do what needs to be done. Oh, you don't take your son out. Okay, but if I take my son out and do X, Y, and Z, who's going out there working to pay the bills? Make up your mind. You want a man that to provide, right? Not everybody gonna be a basketball player. Not everybody gonna be a baseball player or hockey player or football player. Some people gotta do 9 to 5s. Some gotta work in a mechanic. Some gotta work in the construction, right? All this nonsense I'm hearing about, I'm sorry to say this, but it may sound brutally harsh, but too many of these modern Black women are the dumbest women on the planet. They're so goddamn dumb with their so-called education that they got their heads so stuck far up in their anal they can't even take it out and see the reality of things. Then later on, when things hit the fan, I want to say shit, but I should say shit hit the fan, who are you calling to fix the mess? Who are you calling to fix the roof? Who are you calling to fix the plumbing? There's a crack on the wall. Who are you calling to fix the crack on the wall? So long as my car, I need to get this thing removed. Who are you calling to fix the car? Everything in this today modern society that needs fixing, that needs repairing, that needs a solution, who are you calling to get it done? Then I had to deal with the troll mafia. Oh, talking point mafia, talking point. What's a talking point? Throughout history, men who built society, were they feminine or were they masculine? Were they problem solvers or they do pillow talk? Which one is it? When the enemy come to the household, you want a pillow talk man to fight your battle? You fight with a pillow? Oh, oh. Or you want a man with carry his beard and his shield and fight to make sure he save you and everybody else? Which one is it? Make it make sense. Because I'm a masculine, I'm not feminine. I don't do the pillow talk. The later one, when it's time to defend you, you're like, why don't you do it? Really? I'm glad that your aunt said what she said because as African, we said it for the longest, but we were taught that. When a man gets out of his destiny, out of his lane, he's out of control. They applied for the woman. When I hear men say, I don't want to get a job, that's not a man, that's a male, an adult male. I keep saying it. We have men, adult males, and their boys. Not everyone can hold the title of a man. The requirement to be considered to be a man. Man gotta be a provider, gotta be a protector, gotta be a counselor, gotta be an educator. Gotta have patience, gotta have emotional control, emotional intelligence. Everyone will see my son or my daughter like to interfere with my broadcast, but like, it's because they got that love for me, which is genuine. I take my time out and sit down with each individual kid, my son or my daughter, and teach them what they're supposed to, how they're supposed to respond to their mother, how they put respond to their father, how they put speak to their teacher, how they put speak to their elder. What you do reflect who I am as a parent, as a father. What the woman said was totally correct. I watch a lot of women who don't listen to their father. Our culture, if you walk out of the house and you're the daughter of a particular prominent man and you disgrace him, oh, something's gonna happen. Either that be correct, you're gonna be exiled. But today, modern American woman, I could do whatever I want. I could dress whatever I want. But when thing happened to you, you want saving. You want protection. Are you that stupid? Pick and choose. If you want to live in chaos with no tradition, then live in chaos. Deal with it. Whatever happened with that chaos, own up to it. Don't call nobody come to protect you. Do not. If you do, they have the right to pimp slap you and say, we're not going to help until you get yourself back into order. That is factual. I'm not going to mice my word to nobody around here because I'm trying to raise the next generation of adult male and female to be responsible, to be educated, but be well-mannered, and be well-respectable. I'm not going to allow my kid to mimic the society that we have today. I'm not allowing it. I told my daughter, how you dress determine if we raise you right or not. But if they find out that we are well good parents, we're trying to raise you properly, and you being rebellious, they'll say you are the bad apple. You are the black sheep. You don't want to be unstructured in order. You want to do your own thing. When thing goes wrong, you want people to bail you out. No, I told my son, my daughter, if you do what I did not tell you to do, I'm not going to bail you out. I'm going to leave you right there, and you're going to figure it out yourself.
Well, that goes back to the whole accountability piece that I was talking about earlier. So, but I Black David, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming in and speaking on it, my brother. I appreciate it. Let me get the world class in here. Thank you, Black David. Let me get the world class in here. Before I bring up the world class, I want to say this. Sugar Bomb, everybody, we have some people in the chat wanting me to answer Sugar Bomb's question. So before I bring it up, world class, I want to answer this question for Sugar Bomb. She said, why is being in control so important to men? And then she followed up by saying, like, I don't get the obsession with controlling women. Sugar Bomb, let me give you the most intelligent answer ever. There is a difference between controlling a woman and taking control. There's a difference between controlling and taking control. Controlling is not allowing you to have any freedom. Get in that closet, shut the fuck up. When I let you out the closet, go cook. That's controlling. Taking control is seeing things that you can't see. And most of the time, women can't see anything. Most women can't see the truck coming around the curve when they're passing on a double line. They can't see it. And so what we have to do is we have to lead you to see it. You can't see the danger of being out at 1 o'clock in the morning, going to get hot dogs, and your son have to come out of the car and shoot a man because you're out past the hours a woman should be out. And your son have to live with that trauma for the rest of his life. You can't see that. You can't see the fact that, there's things out in this world that doesn't favor women. There are vans picking up women and selling them. You can't see that. All that matters is what makes you feel good. And sometimes everything that makes you feel good is not really good for you. It feels good to be out at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, but would it feel good if somebody snatched your ass up? There's a difference. There's a complete and 100% difference between being controlling and taking control, Sugar Bomb. Being controlling and taking control. Controlling, taking control, right? Being controlling is saying I can fly the 747 airliner by myself. Taking control would be this airplane is about to crash. I need to take over to keep it from crashing. And this is what's happening in the world today. We're not allowing ourselves. We're not, and I just told you the secret. Listen, if you're just coming in, hit the like button, subscribe button. Thank you so much. If you want to buy me a cup of tea from Starbucks, then you get me a Cash App at the bottom of the screen or a super chat. However, let me say this. I just told the secret. If you're just coming in, I over the weekend, I went to my uncle's funeral. He passed away. And I had an opportunity to sit down at the table with a lot of the elderly, people who have been married for 60 plus years. I've also sat down with my cousin who is the same age as I am, but she's old. She has an old soul. So she loves tradition, husband, family, all that stuff. She loves it, and she speaks highly of it, just like I do. She told me the secret. All right, you got to go back and watch the rest of it, right? Because I explained everything that happened over the weekend with the elderly and how they said that the things that we're talking about on the internet is a myth. None of it's true. Women were not forced to be with men. They were not forced to marry them and stay with them. They were with those men as they loved them. And the community was there to uplift and to balance marriage throughout the entire community. If a husband and wife had a problem, my grandmother said, she went to allude it, I'll speed it up a little bit. My grandmother said there was a prayer service. There were men that got together as a group and went hunting together, and they talked about the men talked to the men, the women talked to the women. They cooked, they cleaned together, they came over and ate dinner at each other's houses to keep the balance, to keep confusion and chaos from consuming the family. So she talked about a lot of myths that we talk about here on YouTube. She said it. She said there's a lot of myths. She talked about a lot of things that y'all got to go back and watch it. Y'all got to go back and watch it. All right. All right. So, but I do want to bring up, but that's what I want to say to you, Sugar Bomb Baby. It's a difference between controlling and taking control. I'm not going to come over and say, bitch, get on your knees and do this. That's controlling. But taking control is, hey, baby, what you got on tonight is inappropriate. Would you like to go to the store later on and buy something else? I don't think that's something that a wife should be wearing. See how I took control of that situation? I didn't tell you couldn't go out. I didn't tell you that you can do anything. I just asked your husband looking at you, that's inappropriate. We need to go and get you something else because that's not going to work for your husband tonight. All right. Yeah, thank you, Trey. Myth, a widely held but false belief or idea. Yes. Trey, man, please go back and watch this from the beginning. All right, Sugar Bomb said that's better. All right. All right, so let me bring up World Class. World Class is in the building tonight. Right. What's up with your World Class, man? You heard everything that I said from the beginning. You were here, man. Thank you for being here and supporting the channel and the show today. What are your thoughts on the matter, my brother? On everything that you heard me say so far?
A lot of what first piece of the chat, piece of the channel, piece of you, bro. A lot of what your aunt and your cousin were saying is what I've been saying. I just said it in a different way.
Yeah.
Because, and I make sure I do, because it's like when we go to like the end of what you said, which is these chicks choose single motherhood, which everybody knows that, which means that they're child alienating, which means that they know it's a lie when they say that the men wasn't there, right? So let's just move forward with it. Why are you doing something like what will cause that today's behavior versus what we know our grandmothers told us? Because every single solitary thing that you said that those elders told you, I was told as well. Every single solitary thing. That isn't I can even limit it to the barbershop. There is nothing, not one thing that I've seen any one of these females do in any one of these situations, I swear on my life, from the story that I did with the woman, the female sold her little girl for whatever you want to call it, to a man and for $200, and he took her life. Even to that, there's nothing that I heard, nothing that I've seen today that I didn't hear in a barbershop when I was a little boy. Nothing. So we've been told all of this stuff. So how do we go from that reality to what we have now, where a female wants to make sure a male isn't there, or make sure any type of authority isn't there, so she can make the boy to be the way she wants? what changed from then to now? It's like, how do we push that information forward? Because you could even BMU, you can even have your grandmothers and your elders on this channel and saying it. I could do the same thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the people that know it's true. How do we have cognizance of what's going forward? Because
Right.
the ones that's in the chat that don't on these platforms that don't want to believe it are not going to believe it because of something that I identify as an identity crisis. Because they will look at the older women in the past and say the stuff that they say that you rebutted all the time. So where did you get that from? They got that from the thing that I constantly keep saying. I know it's boring. It's never going to be viral, but it's just raw truth. And is that these chicks today, especially so-called black people, are consumers. They're not human. And it sounds like I'm leaning to buying stuff, but I'm telling you, their identity is being a consumer. All they are is what that receipt allows them to be. They are nothing outside of that. And when they go to that store, that's where all their feelings are. That's where all of their freedom is. And they have this association in the home as they do outside. When they're home, all they're thinking about is outside. And then when they get outside, they want to take that outside in the home. Meaning, when they're dealing with us, we think we're dealing with a girlfriend or a wife. We're not. She's just shopping. That's all she's doing. The interaction with us is just an over-the-counter exchange. It's Burger King. Have it your way. They really have no separation between their consumer desires and their human desires. Their human desires has been consumed by their consumer desires. And that's just what they don't know how to be anything other than consumers. Because it makes no sense for these, empower me, these same empowerment people. Listen, this is crazy. These same females who want so much empowerment, who doesn't want to be controlled, for us to watch what they do to their children every day. There's no way in hell that you the same person that wants so much freedom never to be talked bad to, but I'm watching you slap your child across the street. I'm watching you lie on your children. These chicks say these men get on the internet and they complain about women. You can go everywhere in life, find a black female, and they're blaming stuff on their children. You can't get in shape because of your child. You can't make it to work on time because of your child. You can't do your hair or take care of yourself because of your child. You blame stuff on people, on children all day, everywhere. So this can't be the same person. But they know when I go in that store, this person, and I take this card or this piece of paper, this person on the other side of the counter, are forced to give me my way. And they put all their feelings into that. That's the only time they can be free. And everything else, they spite it. And then when they get to you just the person to take them to the counter. That's it. You are in a relationship bringing goods and services, and she's just a shopper. They're just shopping. That's it. Everything else is torture to them if they're not shopping. I was with my third girlfriend. She was a virgin. Church girl. Sweetheart. This girl literally said, I like shopping for shoes. Shopping for shoes make me wet. You have a sexual association to shopping. Yeah. It's dangerous.
And you know what? One of the things that made me think about, one of the other things my cousin said that I was going to wait to talk about on the other show, but I'll say it now. One of the things she said, she's 39, my cousin, she said that, I heard a lot of people on your channel. She said, I heard men say this, which is a shame. She said, but I also heard women say that black women are the most abused women and deleted women out of any culture. She said, but one of the things that she said, and that's a number, she said, and y'all use that. She said, women use it as a talking point all the time. She said some of the softer men use that as well. She said, but nobody's accounting for the fact that black women are the biggest abusers of their own children. And the biggest abusers, she said, biggest abusers of their own children and the biggest deleters of their own children. And she said, how is that? And I thought about you, World Class. I know you say it all the time. And she said, how is it that we can blame men for being more violent, the more violent men in the world? Black men are the most violent men in the country when women have deleted over 23 million babies and beat up and deleted half of their children. And she says somehow they'll find a way to blame the men for that too. And my cousin don't do social media. If she did, I would let her have this platform by herself. She's old school. She don't do social media. Everything about husband, kids, family, and everything. She don't do nothing. The only way she know about my show is her kids show her on their phones. Other than that, she don't do nothing.
The one thing religiously I hope I'm known for is because it's so extremely important to understand what I'm about to say and what I've been saying for a long time. It's coming from research. It's coming from years of study. It's coming from intuition. It's everything I know about religion is allowed me to say what I'm about to say when I've been said. Mm-hmm. This is literally the age of the anti-Mary. It is a new demon, a new hybrid demon, a new hybrid, I don't know, seance, where everything about what Mary stood for, Jesus' mother, not Magdalene, these chicks are absolutely positively against. The word Mary, her name, Mary, means to rebel. And these chicks today are fighting the rebellion of indigenous, autochthonous people around the planet, fighting back the people who indoctrinated us with pseudo-slavery, dehumanization. And they are fighting the rebellion. Let's go to what Mary really is. Mary did everything she could to make sure her Messiah's son was safe. And they're doing the exact opposite. They will take their children out for comfort and convenience. They will throw their children under the bus. 24,117,000 children since 1973. How many messiahs you think came through that? This is the age of the anti-Mary. Everything she stood for. She didn't try to outshine her son in life or in death. And that's literally what's going on right now. It's a serious identity issue and an identity crisis that has to be addressed, or we're wasting our time even talking to them. And the women they have to address that. You got to recognize that we are being compromised. I keep saying it all the time, even with these dating conversations. Y'all have to teach these young chicks that you have these older, bitter, and I say older, I don't even mean 20 years older. I mean maybe a year older, maybe 30 minutes older. You got these other chicks that are willfully and actively undermining other women because they don't want that chick or that other girl to feel good stuff that she can't feel at the time. And that's what's going on. They're giving them bad advice on purpose to undermine them. And it's just what's been going on. It's just this, I don't know what to call this, society that we're in, this satanic society that we're in, where it's just, I got to have more than you so I can feel like I'm something. Like I said this before, like if you dealt with a lot of chicks, I know a lot of y'all that's been married, you ain't been out here in the streets. There are these chicks' value system. And I say chick, y'all be thinking about the thoughts. Nah, a chick that worked at the corrections that's 40. And she's a chick. Yeah. That's 40 something with a almost a 30 something year old that has a baby that's living out. These 40-year-old chicks is about to be great grandmothers. So their value system is literally what they want. Is what they want. What they want. It's not whether they're good enough to do anything or not. They think they deserve a lot just because they want it, because that's the only talent you need. I just got to want stuff. And if I don't have my way, I get to attack you. So everything is like a threat or a heist. Everything is a heist. So it's what your aunt and your sister and your cousin was saying. It's like they want to bond, limit, and restrict. Like I said, they want to keep the baby. They will keep the baby from the dad, conveniently give the baby the value system to praise them, and then guilt trip that baby for taking care of them. Take away all the resources and birthrights. Keep the baby away from even their mom. Whoever will interfere with her consumer experience for her baby, which is just this little portable flesh kiosk that can't tell her no. Keep the little baby that you keep poking and getting feedback from, and then guilt trip this child that, oh yeah, I took care of you. Give me credit. But if that same baby go out and take somebody's life, they don't be the same type of proud that they are when when they get drafted and shit. And it's just, and then blame it on the nigga that wasn't there. The whole concept, like this whole concept, like those Cynthia G people, for it to be about the men that's not there, y'all got to pick a struggle. Either we wasn't there or we made them bad. And no,
Right.
it still be your men. It still be the men that's SA and the children. Oh, you mean the men that you brought around? That's not the dad. You mean
Exactly.
them? Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I get the accountability thing, and it's that in action that they don't want to be held accountable. But what they're in it for is a false sense of control. Is to continue to feed that false sense of reality, that false sense of control. That consumerism has been a supplement for, a pseudo supplement for. So, yeah, like I insist people that maybe, of course, me speaking, you need to go back and listen to what BMU said, because I'm wanting to move the conversation forward and add my part to it, because it's about time people understand and accept that, and just all the banter and all the stuff that they're saying is to distract from what you said earlier. That's all that's going on, and it's been going on. It's not new. It's been going on for 60 years. All of us 60 or under are in the grasp of what you spoke to. I want to bind, limit, restrict this child to me so I can have my way. They turning these babies into little portable flesh kiosks where I can just push
Yep.
some buttons whenever I
Yep.
want and have my way.
Yep.
And that's just it.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you for coming up and giving your word, brother.
Appreciate
Coming
you.
in, man, and hopefully you'll do a reaction to, because I'm looking forward to hearing that, brother. I know that you be getting down with that, so I appreciate you, man, for coming. Ladies and gentlemen,
Appreciate
give it up for the world class in the building.
Peace. Appreciate y'all.
All right, guys, that's it. If you missed the show, you just come in and hit the like button, subscribe button, show your boy some love, show me some support. If you want to buy me some, Trey said that I'm too expensive because I said buy me a cup of Starbucks. So if you want to give me a small Starbucks, you can. If you want to donate to the Cash App, please do so. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, I'd appreciate that. Just show some appreciation for your boy. All right. So I do want to say this before we get out of here. On Monday, we have a show called Pro Bono. That comes on at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time with the two hosts, Angry Snowman, a hell of a pair. Angry Snowman and Illuminated Revelation. On Tuesday, we have Talk That Talk Tuesday. Please, please, please get ready for Talk That Talk Tuesday. We're going to talk about men who are being beat up by women. Domestic violence numbers are rising. The lesbians are beating the shit out of each other, and the women are beating the shit out of the men, and nothing's happening. So we're going to talk about that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have two shows, Sports Show at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We also have, right after that, Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shushu. Thursday, let's get us our mental health together with Dr. Nkumbe and Coach K, and they will be on at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. On Friday, we'll be back in the barbershop, and this last barbershop was amazing. Make sure you guys go over and watch that last barbershop from Friday. I wasn't there, but it went down. All right. We got Security Boss in the house. I want to call her out. Make sure you go like and subscribe to Security Boss. And I'll be over there tomorrow night, hopefully. Tomorrow night, if she's ready to go. Tomorrow night, I'll be over there with her. So make sure you like and subscribe, and also hit the notification button for Security Boss so we can get over there and support her as well. Take Heed is in the building. Thank you, Take Heed, for being here tonight. SBU, let's see what SBU had to say tonight before we get out of here. She says, men, when are you aware of your children? Fight for your kids. Don't allow women to control your kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there should be programs and things that coming up that should be helping you guys with that. I saw a young lady today that went viral that works in the child support office, and she said, guess who's not going to be on child support in a few years? She said, yep, women, we coming for you. She said the restrictions alone are going to cut child support by 65%. Yeah, we're going to have to do a show on that Friday. I think we're going to go to the barbershop with that one. She said it's going to cut child support by 65% because most of the women are getting the money illegally, or they're lying, are being mischievous and devious, and nobody investigates it. And now they're starting to have they're going to get a unit that's going to start investigating these women and what they're doing to get child support and other government funding. And they say should see a cut in that. So hopefully men that are doing the right thing and got caught up in child support just because you wouldn't have sex with her, or you wouldn't pay for a girl's trip. Maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel for you. All right. If you missed this show, please go back and watch it. It was amazing. I've been here an hour and 40 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and get off so I can prepare for my day tomorrow. I got to go back in the office tomorrow. So Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Angry Snowman is in the building. Angry Snowman, he's in the chat right now, guys, so you can congratulate him on his show on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I'm waiting, and so we'll see what they're talking about tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'll be over with Security Boss on tomorrow as well. So thank you guys for being here. Hit that replay button, and we're about to get up out of here. All right. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Be good. Peace.